morning, this is Bob Mason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, EOS, Ethereum and Ripple's XRP. It is Thursday the 9th of July. Jumping straight in to look at Bitcoin against the dollar and the hourly candlestick. Bullish day yesterday. So bearish start to the morning, however. Going to need to see Bitcoin avoid a pullback through the pivot at 9,400 to support that upward momentum from yesterday and a breakthrough that first major resistance level, sitting at 95.44. Going to need to see support from the broader market to break back through to 9,500 levels. However, it's been a while and we've seen plenty of resistance at 9,500. So barring any broad-based crypto rally, that first major resistance level should cap any upside. Fall back through the pivot and we'll see that first major support level sitting at 9,303 come into play. Barring an extended crypto sell-off, we should see Bitcoin avoid sub 9,300 levels on the day. Moving across to the daily candlestick and the MACDs for Bitcoin. MACD seeing a widening of the histogram there, suggesting another bullish day ahead. So Bitcoin would really need to avoid the pivot at 9,400 to support that upward momentum. On the trend analysis, going to need to run through to that first key resistance level at 9,795 to bring 10,000 levels into play, and then a move through to 10,398 to maintain that near-term bullish trend. So avoiding the pivot will be key. Looking at the moving averages, we've seen a slight narrowing on the 50 against the 100, but the MACD is pointing to a bullish day, so avoiding sub 9,400 is key. Moving across to EOS against the dollar and the hourly candlesticks. Bearish start to the day, some money coming off the table after yesterday's breakout. Going to need to avoid a fall through the pivot at 64.70, however, to support a run at that first major resistance level, sits at 74.74. Barring extended crypto rally, we should see resistance at 70 cap any upside. It's going to need to see support from the broader market to break out from yesterday's highs, which is 70.88, and take a run at 74 levels. Fall through the pivot, that brings the first major support level sitting at 58.55 into play. Barring extended sell-off, however, we should see EOS avoid sub 260 on the day. Moving across to the daily candlesticks and the MACD for EOS. MACD certainly pointing to another bullish day ahead. We're expecting some pullback following yesterday's gains in the early part of the morning. So next target for EOS, well, it's the first key resistance level at 290. Breakout through there and we're going to see 311s come into play, supporting that near-term bullish trend. A pullback through the pivot today and a slide back through the day's first major support level at 58.55 would then bring sub 240s into play. Some way off that key support level at 219, a breakdown through there and we've got that bullish trend reversal. So avoiding the pivot, move through to 270s and then a run at 290s would support the bullish trend. If we have a quick look at the EMAs, we're seeing the 50 narrow against the 100, also suggesting that there's a possible further breakout on the day. So pivot key for this morning. Moving across to Ethereum against the dollar and the hourly candlesticks. Again, money coming off the table early part of the day. Going to need to see Ethereum avoid the pivot at 244.70, however, to support a rebound and then a run at this first major resistance level sitting at 251.46. Fall through that pivot, we're going to see that first major support level at 240.37 come into play. Barring an extended sell-off, should see Ethereum avoid sub 240s. Moving across to the daily candlesticks and the MACD for Ethereum. Yesterday's breakout brought Ethereum nearer to that first major resistance at 253.60 to support that near-term bullish trend. So on the day, holding above the pivot and a move through the day's major resistance level 51.46 would support a run to break out through 251s, and then we've got the 23.6% fib at 257. That would support that near-term bullish trend. Fall back through the pivot to sub 240s and then we're seeing a likely fall back through to sub 220s, and then this first key support level at 215s, break down through there, and then we're looking at sub 200s and that 176 that we've been talking about. So key on the day will be to avoid a fall through the pivot and then take a run at the first major resistance level. MACD suggesting a bullish day ahead, and we're seeing a widening of the EMAs, the 50 versus the 100 and the 200, also supportive of a possible breakout later in the day. Moving across to Ripple's XRP against the dollar and the hourly candlestick, slightly bearish start to the day, tracking the broader market. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP avoid the pivot at 1990 to support a run at its first major resistance level, so it's at 2138. Going to need to see major broad-based crypto rally to support a breakout from yesterday's high 2070 and a breakthrough to 2100. Barring an extended rally, should see resistance at 21, capping the upside on the day. Fall through the pivot, and we've got that first major support level sitting at 1910. Barring an extended sell-off, should see Ripple's XRP avoid any fallback through to sub-19s. Looking at the trend analysis and the daily candlesticks and MACD's pointing to another breakout. And when we look at the moving averages, we're seeing the 50 narrow against the 100 and the 200, also suggestive of a bullish day ahead. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP avoid that pivot and a pullback through sub 20s to 1990, however, to support a bullish day ahead. So, first major resistance level of the day sitting at 2138. Ripple's XRP's key resistance level on the trend sits at 2150. So a breakthrough 2150 should deliver further upside, and then a run through to the major resistance level sitting at 2357 that would be needed to support that near-term bullish trend. So on the day, keep an eye out the pivot. Holding above that should support another breakout and a run at 21 levels.